In this video, we'll be looking at Pope Francis' humble, last wish that he doesn't want to be buried with anything of value. The current pope is one of the most influential figures in the world today. Even though he doesn't have any political power, he has millions of followers around the globe. He lives a life of luxury and gets to travel on a private plane and stays in lavish hotels. So, what could this humble man want? He was born in Argentina as Jorge Mario Bergoglio on December 17, 1936. He worked his way up through the ranks of the church and became the Bishop of Buenos Aires in 1998. As a young man, he battled asthma and had part of one lung removed. He said that this experience made him realize how dependent he was on other people. This may have contributed to his humility. Francis was elected the 266th Pope on March 13, 2013, after the resignation of Pope Benedict XVI. He is the first pope from the Americas and the first from the Southern Hemisphere. He has made several historic firsts during his papacy, such as being the first pope to visit an active war zone when he went to the Democratic Republic of the Congo in 2023. He also made history by becoming the first pope to cancel the traditional papal bulldozer ceremony, which symbolizes the transfer of power from the previous pope. Pope Francis is known for his progressive views and has called for the Church to be more welcoming to gays and divorced Catholics. He has also been a strong critic of capitalism and inequality. In 2013, he said, "This whole system must be changed because it is not right that some can live with plenty while others barely have enough to live." Francis lived up to his name and chose to ride in a simple Fiat car instead of a luxury Mercedes. He also lives in a small apartment and has said that he doesn't like living in large houses. So, with all this in mind, what did the Pope want to be buried with? If you've been following along, then you might be surprised to hear that the answer isn't anything at all. That's right, he doesn't want to be buried with anything. But why? Let's take a look at what he wants to leave behind. The Pope is very concerned about climate change and has said that we only have one planet and we must take care of it. He has also been a strong advocate for peace and has called for an end to the arms race. When he was asked what he would like to be remembered for, he said, "I would like to be remembered as a man who preached the gospel of Jesus Christ with love, a man who tried to follow the example of Francis of Assisi in his poverty and his love for creation, a man who has opened the door of faith to young people and made them feel that the church is a home for all, not just for the perfect ones." So why would he want anything at all when he dies? One reason could be that he wants to set an example for others. By not having anything valuable buried with him, he would be showing that material possessions are not important. He would rather be remembered for his work and his message than for the things he owned. Another reason could be that he wants to avoid any extravagance. He is a very humble man and does not want to be buried in a luxurious tomb. He would prefer to be buried in a simple coffin with no fanfare. There is a story about the Pope that illustrates his humility. During a visit to a prison in Italy, he was asked by an inmate what he would do if he were in charge of the world. Francis replied that he would abolish the death penalty and make sure that all prisoners had access to education and vocational training. The inmate was impressed by the Pope's compassion and asked him how he could become a better person. Francis told him to read the Bible and to never lose hope. The Catholic Church has a long tradition of saints and popes being buried in elaborate tombs. However, Francis is not your typical pope, and he is changing the traditions of the Church. He has said that he does not want to be seen as a work of art or an object of veneration. He would rather be seen as a servant of the Lord. Another reason why the Pope might not want to be buried with anything is that he wants to avoid any temptation. Extravagant tombs have been known to be robbed, and Francis would not want his remains to be desecrated. By not leaving anything valuable behind, he would be reducing the temptation for grave robbers. It would also send a message that he does not condone the pursuit of material possessions. If you're thinking that maybe he's just trying to save his loved ones the trouble of having to guard his tomb, then think again. He actually wants to be buried in a common grave with other popes. There is a special place in the Vatican where popes are buried, but it is not open to the public. The reason for this is so that the remains of the popes are not disturbed. Now, let's go back to the original question. What would the Pope like to be buried with? To answer this, we need to look at what he has said in the past. In 2013, he told reporters that he didn't want to be buried with anything except for the smell of sanctity. He said, "I want to be buried in a simple coffin in the ground. Nothing else, neither a monument nor anything else. I prefer that the grave be marked simply with a slab bearing only my name, the date of my birth, and the date of my death." This shows that the Pope is a very humble man who does not want anything more than what he already has. He is content with his life and does not need anything extra to make him happy. It also shows that he is not afraid of death. He knows that he will die one day, and that is not something that he worries about. Instead, he is concerned with the state of the world and the suffering of the people. And lastly, it shows that he is a man of deep faith. He believes in the resurrection of the dead, and that one day he will be reunited with his loved ones. He does not need any fancy tomb to remember him, because he will live on in the hearts of the people he has helped. In conclusion, Pope Francis is a man who doesn't need anything to be happy. He is content with his life and the things he has. He is a humble man who doesn't want anything more than what he already has. He is a man of deep faith who believes in the resurrection of the dead. When he dies, he doesn't want to be buried with anything because he knows that his soul will live on. What do you think of the Pope's last wish? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.